Hello, it's Adrian from Living Holistic Health here. I just wanted to talk to you about unexplained infertility and the number one thing that needs to get checked if that's something that yourself or somebody, a couple that you know, may be dealing with. And the reason that I say that is because I've just been, inspired by some of my clients who have come through, and a lot of them have been struggling with this issue for quite some time, and very often if we can just get this number one thing checked and then accounted for, it can invariably lead to getting a couple pregnant. And so it's really something that's why I get frustrated is because a lot of GPs, not all, but a lot of GPs and medical practitioners in general aren't really giving this particular test or this particular issue the coverage and the credibility that it deserves, because there's a stack of research on it in the medical literature, but it's just not a part of mainstream conventional medical thinking overall. And so I just wanted to bring it to your attention because it's one thing that if it's an issue, and then it can be addressed through nutrition and can lead to a successful pregnancy, whereas for some couples they can have a lot of trouble trying to get pregnant. And the number one thing is this concept I've spoken about before, guys, called methylation. So methylation is a biochemical process that happens in the body, and it's responsible for a lot of reactions, but it's really crucial for the processing of folate, which we get from foods, one of the B vitamins that we get naturally occurring through leafy green vegetables. And that spits into this methylation and homocysteine methionine recycling pathway, which is really crucial for the DNA and the cell division. So particularly in those young embryos, getting them implanted and getting them dividing and growing rapidly and at the correct rate. And there's one test that needs to be done to see if it's a genetic test. It can be done through a GP or privately through most of the pathology companies out there in Australia will do it. And that is it's a polymorphism. It's called the MTHFR genetic test. And what this test does, it's a very simple test. You can either get it done through blood or through a buccal swab, so through your mouth. And it just looks to see if you're carrying any variants of this particular gene. And if that is the case, then it might be that you can struggle to actually process folate effectively, and that your body it suffers a loss of function in this gene. And what that means is that it's harder for your body to go through the methylation process, which is crucial if we want to start getting embryos and babies forming because of that cell division that I spoke about before. So I encourage you, if you have unexplained infertility, or even if you're just thinking of getting, of starting a family, getting this test as part of screening, I think personally, should be much more common than it is. Because if it is an issue, then it needs to be addressed nutritionally, and the body needs to be supported to make sure that you can actually process your folate, your naturally occurring folate, adequately and at adequate levels with a bit of support, which we can do as nutritionists and in the naturopathic sense. To get your body to function better, so that your methylation process and the embryos and the babies form more correctly and are given the additional nutritional support, which can be prescribed if we know that there's a genetic polymorphism or genetic issue there with this MTHFR gene. So something I really encourage you to think about and speak to your GP or or someone like ourselves, for example, about getting that tested and checked to see if that is forming part of your overall health picture, and that's having an impact on infertility, because it's very often not done in a standard group of testings, and it should be. So that's something you need to consider. Guys, so if you have any other further questions on that, please send us a message over Facebook or via our website there, because it's really an important issue that I think isn't really considered to be part of mainstream medicine, but certainly for our clients who have come through, it's really helped them. So I hope you take that on board, and that can hopefully help you in your situation. Okay, thanks very much for listening.